What is up, people? Welcome back to another episode today of the My Player Career Mode here on FIFA 18. And as I'm kickstarting today's episode off, take a look at that, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, Player of the Month announced, Ben has picked up his first Premier League Player of the Month. Of course, he got 3 consecutive back-to-back ones in the Championship, but that is his first in the Premier League. So congratulations to Ben. That, of course, shows you that he's been playing well over the last month. I think he picked that up for the month of September. So, yeah, he got given it in October, right at the start. So, yeah, pretty much for the month September. So, credit to Ben, credit to Spurs. Of course, they're doing all the right stuff currently. And they're about to embark in another European Cup game now. It is going to be against Cork City of Ireland. So, this one should be interesting because all things are pointing to this being a Spurs goal fest, basically. So, going to Ireland to play them, of course, on their ground, it might be a bit different, might be a bit more tricky for Ben and the boys. But, I mean, after the first game had been played, of course, Spurs got off to winning ways against Club Brugge. And I'm not quite sure if Cork City won, lost, or drew with Nice, the other, of course, team in the group. But, as I said, going into this, everything is pointing to this being a Spurs goal fest. And that is the team that Pochettino put his faith into. Harry Kane and Ben as like the front two, if you will. Ben playing as kind of a shadow striker at the moment, isn't he really? So 4 minutes in, that is how long the first chance took to appear. Ben using his pace, putting on the afterburners to go down the right-hand side. Gets a little bit lucky here, actually, to find the ball back at his feet. Tries to react quickly and send the left-footed volley goalwards, but well done to the Cork City defender who got back just in time to possibly stop that being 1-0. Maybe the keeper would have had it covered, but I'd rather for Cork City, I'm sure they would much prefer it to know and have the defender blocking that one. But 18 minutes in, they were going to last as long as they possibly could, but for them, it was just all about damage limitation, really. You know, as I said, this is one of these games where everybody would be looking at Spurs saying if they don't hit 4-5 towards Cork City, and I mean no disrespect, of course, but in terms of, like, you know, team quality or whatever, you would like to think that Spurs could absolutely take the game to Cork City here. So they kept them out for 18 minutes before Harry Kane fired that strike into the bottom corner of the goal. And as I said, you know, 2 chances in the first 20 minutes, both of them going Spurs' way. It was going to be a simple kind of affair for them. All they had to do was make sure they defended well, and when they got the ball, try and use it effectively. And they were doing that up until the 90th minute, because that's when the next chance appeared. And it was only because of a Cork City man fouling Ben. So I have to give major credit to Cork City, because you know what? As I said, I was expecting to come here and watch us just trounce them, but they kept us out for 18 minutes before Harry Kane scored, and then for a further 60 minutes or so. So full credit to Cork City, to be honest with you. I mean, Spurs, we did create a lot of chances, but most of them were half chances. A few of them were just, you know, horrible misses from us on our perspective. Our finishing wasn't great on the day, and for Ben, he really didn't have too much to say in the way of attacking. As you can see, only playing a 7.5 match rating in a 90-minute game there. Heung-min Son almost makes the score 2-0 here, but we get a throw-in on the left-hand side, 90 minutes onto the clock now. Ben is basically just trying to work some space, trying to find himself with the throw-in. Asks for it to be played there, but it goes all the way backwards. But he does pick the ball up, feeds a pass into his teammate, gets it back from him. Space opens up, rides that challenge there, and fires it across to Son, who does get his goal. And it's also an assist for Ben as well. Credit to him. He could have tried to take the strike on himself and, you know, take the glory and score it, but he saw this simple pass over to Son on and decided he was going to do that instead. So, well played, Ben. A good finish, Son, and I'm going to show you in a replay in a moment's time. It was just about onside. There was question marks about it. A couple of the Cork City players did appeal, and nothing was given, of course, because, as you're seeing right there, even though Son is technically ahead of Ben, I thought he was level with the ball, so I kind of feel as though that he was onside there, Heung-min Son. So it is 2-0, and it will be a 2-0 victory on the road for Spurs. Not as convincing, as commanding as you would expect here going into this one against Cork City. But as I said, major credit to them. They managed to keep Spurs out for long periods of the game. And it was just about Spurs not really making the most of the ball when they had it. But they did score twice, and they did get the 3 points. And at the moment, that is all that matters. Ben playing at a 9.0 match rating. After being 89 minutes in, he was at a 7.5. So 1.5 just for getting that assist to Son for the goal. But sadly, doesn't get man of the match because Son does come away with that one. So, as I said, I mean, look at those match facts. Spurs had 10 shots, 6 on target. On another day, maybe, if their shooting was a little bit better, it would have been 4-5-0. But, you know, Cork, to their credit, they did what they had to do, I suppose, but didn't get anything out of the game, sadly. So the other game in the group, Nice, was 2-0 to the French club against Club Brugge, and that is the third game, of course, coming up for Spurs. We'll have to see if they can continue their 100% record or if they will fall short at Nice. We'll see about that one in the future episode. But now, on to some Premier League gameplay here for Ben and Spurs. And luckily for you guys interested and watching this at home, it is going to be against Ipswich Town, of course. The team where Ben spent his first season of professional football, helping them to promotion in the Premier League before moving over to Spurs. And now he gets to meet them in a Premier League game. Under some kind of weird circumstances. I say weird, it's to be expected. Spurs second, Ipswich 18th. So, again, going into this one, you're expecting Spurs to be on the front foot, to be the better team, although it is in Ipswich, so we'll see if the fans of Ipswich are going to warm to Ben or if they're going to give him a hostile reception. You know, he did spend a really good year here, he enjoyed his time, and of course he helped them gain promotion, but now he is effectively the enemy. He's going to come here with his Spurs team and look to get on the front foot and try and score to silence, I guess, Ipswich, and we'll see how the fans take to him. But as Anthony Taylor was ready to get the game underway, we are now ready to also get the game underway. And it was Spurs with the first chance. 6 minutes in, Ben into Harry Kane. Kane back to Ben. Little bit lucky with that one there. Felt the defender did enough to really get the ball. But then Ben finds his way all the way into the penalty area before the keeper makes a great save to push it onto the crossbar. Could have already been a goal on his return to Ipswich for Ben there, had the keeper not have made that save. And then 22 minutes in, Spurs continue to pile on the pressure. This time it was Sissoko as he sees his effort go over the top of the crossbar as well now. So 2 chances, as I said, in the first half here. Spurs a little bit wasteful at the moment with their chances, not being able to take them. And Pochettino really knows that in Premier League football, it only takes 1 goal before you could be on the back foot. And as you saw, Ben now 29 minutes in, picks it up, drives into the area again, looking for that near post. But a good one-handed save from the Ipswich Town goalkeeper denies Ben for a second time in the game. So he's having a stormer, Ben, so far. He's getting his chances, he's creating the chances, just can't find the back of the net at the moment. And the Ipswich fans were really, really biting their nails to see whether or not it was going to remain 0-0 as of at half-time. And it really shouldn't, because Ben sent Harry Kane in, he snatched at his shot, and it was a simple save for the keeper. And we went into the second half now. 60 minutes on the clock. Ipswich really didn't have anything going forward. They were just trying to survive the onslaught that Spurs were throwing at them. Heung-min Son with the latest strike in the game. Another good stop by the goalkeeper, though, as we went 25 minutes from time now. Ben on the edge of the area, trying to work some space to find a pass through. Gets it off to Harry Kane. And that is the save of the bunch from the Ipswich man. What a save by the goalkeeper. It looked like it was going to be one of them days. Ben's playing at an 8.8 in a 0-0 draw so far. That just showed you how much impact he had on this game. He was on fire. Just Spurs couldn't find that goal. And 15 minutes from time now, Ben again looking to try and work some space. Feeds it to Alderweireld. Alderweireld into Harry Kane. And finally, the breakthrough came. And it was Harry Kane with the finish. He should have had it just before when the keeper made that unbelievable save. But, as I said, you know, it was expected. Ipswich, they were third from bottom, having only won 1 game so far this season. I said it was going to be a tough, long season for them if they do get Premier League, when we were fighting for it last season, of course. And the truth is, you know, for Ipswich, it's most likely going to be instant relegation back to the Championship, because I looked at their team before we went into this one. They haven't really added anybody new, and of course they've lost Ben with the fact that he was only on loan, and they've not really done major additions to the squad, so I'm expecting to see them go down, which will be disappointing, of course, having spent a season there and obviously got them promotion. To see them go straight back down, it is what it is. But for Ben, you know, he's just got to focus on his game. He's just got to focus and try and get Spurs into winning ways now. And 79 minutes in, Ben thought, you know what? If Harry Kane can get one, I want one from this game. And he does get one there. Not only does he get one, he ended up half celebrating, not really celebrating massively. It wasn't, you know, mega celebration running into the Ipswich fans and shushing them or whatever. It was just a little celebration, which he's entitled to do, of course. And that is a wonderful finish as well. Into the top corner of the goal. The keeper stood firm in the entirety of this game, but was beaten twice in the last 15 minutes of it. So that Ipswich, sadly, we're going to lose the game by 2-0. And to be honest, for Spurs, it was another good day at the office, another 2-0 win to add to that of the Cork City game. And as you see there, as Ben was very sped up, of course, I wanted to speed this bit up because I don't want to have me just sat here talking over these guys just going off the pitch. But for Ben, On his return to Ipswich since joining on loan, he comes away with 3 points, grabs himself a goal as well, which isn't too bad at all. And to be fair to the Ipswich fans, they didn't really give him too much hassle, which I don't think you can. You know, he gave his heart, he gave his all his performances last season to Ipswich, so it's only right that they don't boo him when he comes back there, you know. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way they gave him the reception there. As Ben now flew off to get involved in some international action here. We are taking on Hungary, or at least England are. Ben not picked for this one though, sadly, so we'll see if he can get into the other game, which is actually Wales in this group stage, which would be an interesting one to say the least if he is picked for that one, as the Wales fans will let him know what they're about when it does come to that game, especially if it's in Wales. That'll be interesting. So England versus Hungary here. It was actually 1-0 to the away side. They got the lead inside 7 minutes before Ali equalised, and then Raheem Sterling added a second for England until I think it was Dele Alli then gets a second. Yes, he does. 16 minutes from time, the former Spurs man adds a second to his game and a third to England's, and that is the way the game ended. So 3 points for England and Ali getting a brace. Is that going to stop Ben from being picked against Wales? No. He decided, did Southgate, that he wanted to start Ben in this one, which, you know what, to say the least, it's not much of a bad headache to have, is it, when you can switch between Ben and between Dele Alli and know whichever one you pick, they're just going to be as good as each other. I'm really, really intrigued, actually, to see where Dele Alli did end up, because, of course, he did leave Spurs, and as of right now, we don't actually know which club he's playing for because there's nowhere to me to check. So until Ben meets Ali in a club game, we won't know where he's currently playing unless I have missed him at some stage if he's still in the Premier League, although I don't think he is. I'm going to guess that he's in like the European League, maybe at like Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, PSG, you know, those kind of teams. I'm going to guess that's probably where he's gone. We'll see in the future. But as you can see, guys, as both teams came out for this one, England versus Wales, we all know about this matchup. It is a hotly contested, and both teams want bragging rights. Wales, of course, in recent years, especially at the Euros, went a bit further than England did. England in this World Cup previously, though, in the game, you know, in 2018, when Ben was there, did go to the quarterfinals and took Germany to penalties before losing. So both teams are going to be, you know, wanting to win this. They're going to be up for this game. They're going to be highly, highly contested, let's say, and the tackles will be flying in. And 3 minutes into the game here, the first chance appeared, and it was Ben to Harry Kane. And how on earth that is not 1-0 to England is completely beyond me. Major credit to Wayne Hennessy. It's a great save, but to be honest with you, Harry Kane has got to score that, in my opinion. He has to finish that move off. You know, he's got so much the game goal to aim for. All he has to do is find the corners, and he, to be fair, hit it straight at Wayne Hennessy. But luckily for England, stroke of half-time appeared, and we did get a penalty. So Lynch there bringing down, I think it was Harry Kane in the middle. It was pretty much right on the edge of the area, but it was a penalty as well. You can see he tries to get the ball through his legs. Kane just doesn't allow him to get round him, and he goes straight through the back of Harry Kane, which makes it a penalty to England. So for Wales, who had actually had a good first half, to be fair, it was not good when Harry Kane stepped up and slotted home as well. Even with Wayne Hennessy guessing the correct way, he couldn't make the save of the spot kick. So it's disappointing for Wales, but for England, it's jubilance, and it is 1-0 to them as well. As you can see, Ben celebrating with his club teammate Harry Kane, who did, of course, miss that earlier chance. Now, the one thing I've noticed as well regarding Harry Kane is sometimes in this game, he misses the really, really simple chances when he should score them, and then he scores from, like, the edge of the area with some screamers. It's non-like... He doesn't seem to score the easy chances, Harry Kane, in this game, which is credit to him, but it would be nice for him to score the easy ones. As Ben and Kane on the side there, you can see. I'm sure there's a budding bromance in there for Spurs, if you will, as the partnership of Harry Kane and Ben continues at international level as well. So 1-0 down for Wales, but you can bet your bottom dollar they're not going to sit back in this second half, and they didn't do. Straight as the second half began, Gareth Bale there, their star man, feeds it to Lawrence to Bradshaw, and his strike is wide of the bottom corner. That was Wales' first chance of the game. And then it was England's time to have another opportunity. 87 minutes in, it was a very, very low chance game here. Harry Kane links up with Marcus Rashford and finishes off what is quite spectacularly just a great move. You'll see the touch from Rashford in a minute, and truthfully, that was just a sensational touch. As again, Ben is the first one to run over and congratulate Harry Kane. There's a budding bromance, I'm telling you there, guys. Seriously, these two are going to be like two peas in a pod next season once they get to know each other more. It's going to be like they're going to know instinctively where each other is, really, and it's going to be so good for England in the future as well, at future, you know, competitions. For these two to have as good a relationship and just trying to get, you know, a bromance going, it's going to be good for England in the future. I can say that for sure in the Euros to come and the World Cups to come. But regardless, Double from Harry Kane makes the score 2-0 England, and that was the way the game ended. So, as I said, in a low-chance game, in a game where both teams were really up for it, if you take away the penalty decision, it would have been 0-0 at half-time. It would have been, either side could have taken it in the second half. But for Wales, they're disappointed in themselves, rightfully so. They feel that they could have maybe got something out of this one. They can see Dele Alli didn't even make it onto the pitch today, even though Ben didn't have the greatest game for England. But regardless, the 3 points are there, and it is 6 from 6 from the 2 games for England now for Ben and the rest of the England squad. So as I said, that is a chance where Harry Kane should have scored already immediately into the game from Ben. But it happens, And I have to give credit to Hennessy, as I said. The save was pretty good. So, Hungary beating Sweden and Norway beating Romania. And currently, it is only England who remain, I do believe, unbeaten in the group. So, great start from England. And it's looking like they are pretty much in the Euros already. As we move on to what is a marquee game now. Manchester United taking on Tottenham Hotspur at Old Trafford. This one is going to be huge. I was really excited to play and watch Ben play in this one, because I was kind of going into this in the mindset that that Spurs would take a point from this. But if you actually take a look at the league table, whoever wins this game will have sole control of top spot in the Premier League. They were third and second, I do believe, these two, but they had a game in hand over the team above them, and the team above them was Southampton, who were on the same points as them both. So I think they were both on 16 points going into this one, and of course, whoever wins this takes sole spot of first place. So restarts in goal for Spurs: Aurier, Dyer, Oliveira, Walker-Peters, and a midfield 5 of a very strong midfield, with, I do believe, Ben starting just in behind. It might have been Kane, was it? Or it might have been Janssen. I can't remember 100%. But regardless, both teams ready and up for this one. Raring to go. Lee Mason ready to get the game underway. I cannot wait to show you what happens in this one. 7 minutes in, Ben wanted to be on the front foot. It is Harry Kane. Kane into Ben. Ben manages to just about work the space well enough, get his strike away, and there was the first of many saves to come from David De Gea. He is just a sensational goalkeeper, guys. He truly, truly is. And then for United, they decided they wanted to give themselves a chance. Romelu Lukaku, who I felt was going to be an isolated figure today, but to be honest, he got into the game very well, gave it back to Juan Mata, and it's the tale of the Cams right now, because both of them having strikes. That one there from Mata coming off the woodwork. As 17 minutes in, Ben picks up the ball again, feeds it out wide here to Harry Kane, who somehow manages to get it back to him. He tries to react quick enough to squeeze it past David De Gea, but once again, from the Spaniard, it is just a sensational save. And then we move into the 37th minute now. Ben on the ball on this left-hand side, gets past Pogba, feeds it backwards to Fabinho, who gets it into Son. Son to Wood. Wood in behind, looking for that near post. And this time, it is not David De Gea. It is the woodwork that denies him what could have been the opening goal of the game. As United now decided they wanted to have themselves a chance. Lukaku, as I said, getting himself into the game, even though he wasn't isolated. The cross is whipped in, and eventually, through a little bit of luck, Ander Herrera finds his way towards a back post to nod United into the lead. So disappointingly for Spurs, they'd spent the first half very much on the front foot, having the chances, meeting a very informed David De Gea in between the sticks, and it looked like it was going to be a matter of time for Spurs to take the lead before Romelu Lukaku and Manchester United and Ander Herrera found the opening goal of the game. And it was disappointing, because Lloris tried his best there. You can see the Man United fans behind that goal jumping up. They couldn't really believe their luck, really. So Hendricks tried to win the initial header, and it just bounced off a Spurs man straight to Herrera. It's so unlucky for Spurs, but they do find themselves now a goal down in the game. And then second half began. Ben, 61 minutes in. He's just, I don't know what to say about that. I just don't know what to say. He lost his head, lost his composure. Should have been 1-1. And after that, Pochettino seen enough. He thought, you know what? It's just not Ben's day today. So he was substituted. To his disappointment, you saw in his face there. He didn't want to come off, but he realised he wasn't having the greatest game in the world. And so on came Christian Eriksen to try and change the game. And then into the 73rd minute, Wanyama to Eriksen. And you're thinking, oh my goodness me. The change has just worked from Pochettino. What a substitution. Seriously. Pochettino realised, hang on a minute, something wasn't working. It wasn't Ben's day. And as disappointed as he was to come off, I can say this, Ben was loving this goal from Eriksen, jumping off his seat in Old Trafford, fist pumping, because Eriksen had found an equaliser in the game. And it was the first thing for me that David De Gea had done wrong all afternoon. He had a great afternoon, barring that one save there. And Eriksen, Spurs' saviour, has got them back on level terms with 16 minutes to go. So there is still time for both teams to try and grab a winner, but I would take a point now given the circumstances that Spurs were in. So as the game got back underway, Romelu Lukaku gives it out to Eric Bailly. Bailly to the man on the right. He gets across towards the middle, and there is Romelu Lukaku, who thinks he's given United the lead, but sadly, he ends up heading that one wide of the post before Spurs. Alderweireld on the ball now, gives it off to Harry Kane. Kane into Alderweireld again. Nice 1-2 between them, actually, honestly. And eventually it finds its way to Shaqiri, who's got to score. But once again, David De Gea is there, and it's another massive save from the United man. He wasn't even done there, though, because the cross gets whipped in. Kane wins the header. Sanchez is there, and somehow again, I have no words. David De Gea is just truly, truly brilliant. And once again, that should have been another goal. And somehow he makes a save, and it doesn't drop in for Spurs. So they could have had all 3 points from the game. Eventually only come away with 1. You can say they possibly deserve more, but truthfully, David De Gea didn't deserve to lose that one. He played sensationally and deserved at least a draw out of that one. Major credit to him. But, of course, for Ben, he didn't have the greatest game in the world, substituted off before his substitute or replacement as a substitute ended up scoring to give Spurs the point. Maybe now, Pochettino might have a dilemma. Maybe he should drop Ben and start playing Eriksen in some of the games. We'll have to wait and see whether or not that'll affect him in a future episode. But for now, guys, that is where we end today's episode off. I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for your continued support on this series. I know you guys are loving it, and it is really, really cool to see all the nice comments and likes and stuff. If you can keep it up, that'll be fantastic. I hopefully enjoyed this one. If you did, a like rating would greatly appreciate it, guys. I will catch you all again from 4 p.m. tomorrow, guys. No double upload tonight. Sorry, but I'm a little bit busy now, IRL. So see you all again tomorrow at 4, guys. Catch you all then. Adios.